My name is Markus Bentin, so I'm also from the University of Applied Science Leer, like Stefan. My background is naval architecture. I'm a professor there at the Maritime faculty in Leer. I want to tell a little bit about how big is the problem, but we already had some slides about that from Thomas showed there, some from Daniel. It's maybe a little bit doubled. So if we just step in now according for this targets the European Union is setting herself fit for 50-50, I think we can easily predict that there will be more and more wind parks in the North Sea and also in the Baltic Sea. So if you want to fulfill our energy production in a sustainable way, then I think there's no way we will have more and more offshore wind parks out there, and therefore much more offshore wind turbines there. And it's also said before, the license the operators are getting, it's for 20-25 years, and then something need to happen. So maybe they get a prolongation, they can apply for that. But in the end, they have to be decommissioned. The regulation is a little bit different from country to country, but the blades need to put down somehow, and you need to do something with that. So that is everywhere the same. And another thing you should keep in mind is it is in the sea. So there are some international regulations. There was a Basel Convention in 1992 set into force, I think. And the basic idea of that is that garbage waste that is produced in the country should also processed in that country. So it's not the idea that garbage that is collected in the North Sea is shipped to India, Bangladesh, or somewhere else. The idea is that this should be processed there where it was produced. So that is the basic idea of this Basel Convention. More than 180 countries signed that. And if Bangladesh wants this stuff, they can say, okay, please bring it to us. We will take care. That's legal, but maybe they don't want it. And then you will not have a customer where you can sell this. Then another legislation for ship waste treatment from the European Union. I think it was put into force in 2006. It's even more strict than the Basel Convention. So summing up, I think if the operators want to get rid of their offshore wind parks there, they need to take care about that, and they can't really sell it to someone else who is taking care of that far away. So if you want to do it in a legal way, there might be a lot of ways going around it, but if you want to do it in a legal way, we have to take care about all these structures. It's not selling it somewhere. And even for ships, it's getting more and more difficult to scrap them somewhere else. There will be in the future, I think, an industry who is taking care of this. This picture is a bit different to that what you could see from Daniel and what he presented there. So this is based on figures we found out in our project. So, but it's somehow the same than Daniel's figures said. So now we have two decommissioning cycles. So in the beginning until 2030, there's not so much offshore wind parks that need to be recycled, but still it's starting. Yeah? So if the industry wants to learn, it can start with these projects, and then it will scale up. So it will come starting from 2030. You can be sure that the material is coming back. And that is maybe also one thing we were also discussing about ports, that they are an important hub, and this is also what we found out in our simulation models. And when it was coming to erection, it is clear where the material is going. It's going into the field. But now the material is coming back. And at the moment, it's not really clear what is happening with the material. Okay, with the steel, maybe you can find ideas what to do with that, but with the blades, you don't have big ideas what to do. And according my knowledge, there's not a real business now there where you can sell and buy shredded blade material, and you have new processes where you can send it. So at the moment, we had the problem, what doing with these blades? So in our simulation model, when we tried to model the hinterland traffic, where the things shall go, we just assumed, okay, the material is going 50 kilometers and then there's a sink and it's gone. But that's not the truth. So if it is for Grainer maybe difficult getting rid of these blades, it can be a bottleneck for the harbor itself. In the beginning, maybe they have enough place to store it, but then they also need a decision what doing with this. Storing it there, or shall process it, the first process shredding it, then I need to invest in something like this, that it is smaller and it's easy more to transport. So this are a lot of questions, and I don't have answers to that, but I think we should need it to have it in mind. So that is about logistical problems, what I'm already telling about you. What to do with this? So we can do modeling simulation, but we can identify then the parameters and say, okay, we need to know where this shall go. And if the port is running full of material, in the same time it's also erection process maybe from that port, then there might be a bottleneck. And not each harbor maybe has the possibility of a train connection, of inland vessels that can be filled there for channel logistics and all this stuff. And I think another important thing is you need in mind you process waste. Yeah? So you need a license to be allowed to process waste. And maybe not each harbor is allowed to do that. So if you're cutting blades, if you're shredding blades, I think there will be dust. And I think you need for this, depends maybe on the country, licenses for doing this. There are environmental protection laws, and I think it's not maybe so easy getting them all. But to be honest, wind farms and offshore wind turbines, they are a good thing. So it's environmental energy we are getting from there. There are much more dirty industries in the world. If I want to recycle an atomic reactor, I think I will have much more problems getting rid of the stuff. Yeah? So what we are talking about now is this 7% there and this 3% of epoxy we have there, 7% of this fiberglass. So 10% is the problematic waste we have from this offshore wind. And compared to other industry, I think it's nearly clean. But we need to take care of this. So that is, I think, the most challenging part of the decommissioning of the offshore wind. There are also some other figures. Here it's about 1,000 offshore wind turbines to be dismantled in 2030. This also Stefan showed you. Each one has 3 blades, so 3,000 blades. You can estimate that one blade is 10 tons, so 30,000 tons of waste will be there. I think we will have enough waste to think about industrial processing about that, because it's not just the waste of the offshore wind turbines or onshore wind turbines. That's also there. We have also other industries, like on Daniel's slides you could show. Just think about boat industry. So I guess each year maybe 6,000 boats are laid up. Nobody using them anymore. If you want to recycle 1 meter of this boat, it costs somehow 100 euro. So it's just having idea about the price. So that is also in addition to all these blades there. So I think there will be enough blades and enough material. And we were also discussing about upcycling. Is it possible for playground shelter? Yeah, maybe. I think might be possible putting there something. But I'm not sure if it is the solution that each kindergarten, each school in Europe is getting 1 bicycle shelter each year. Maybe that's helpful, but maybe in the end not the solution. So I think we need an industrial solution doing this recycling of this parts, using parts of it in that way. I think is a good idea, but even in the end, after 20 years being a bicycle shelter, it also needs to be processed somehow, because they don't like it anymore, maybe. Dumping is maybe not so nice. Then we were talking about, some will talk today about chemical recycling or pyrolysis. That are great concepts, but I think there we also need to have in mind the oil I get back. So if I think about 1 liter of gas I buy at the fuel station, has an energy content roughly of 10 kilowatt hours, including in 1 liter. So if I produce 1 liter oil of this shredded material, it would be wise not using more than 10 kilowatt hours for producing it. Otherwise, it's getting minus energy. Then it's destroying energy, and then it's you need to discuss what is recycling. And that is, from my point, I think a little bit how big is the problem. And I have the feeling we will not solve it today, but I think we need to discuss about this and have it to put it in the mind of the people that is there. So I think that is the most important thing. And we need to find solution fast, because it will come in 8 years. And we should start now. So it's the usual problem. Okay, I think that was my presentation. Thank you for listening. There are questions maybe later, or if they are fast ones.
Any questions? Yes.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the presentation. A question for you to maybe comment on, what is recycling? If I sort of provoke a little bit, I can say that it would actually be okay to use more energy than you get out in a recycling process, provided it's green energy, and provided that energy goes to keeping carbon and materials in the loop. What do you?
Yeah. So I remember a hierarchy of recycling. The first idea is preventing that you don't produce this scrap, and then next I think is that you reuse it in another form, maybe. So that you give it a new function. And then it's going down and down, and maybe Nina knows more about that. I'm not the recycling specialist, but okay, in the end, it's landfill. Maybe a bit above this is burning it, that you get back the energy that is it's put there. So putting it into the cement industry is maybe a little bit helpful, because you get at least the energy back, and you save some sand. Sand is also getting now valuable, might be an idea, but what is better, making pyrolysis or putting it to the cement industry? I think this is a hard discussion. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Irene from McKean. Being a part of the DecomBlades consortium, we are discussing the quantities coming to be decommissioned in the coming years, and Thomas presented the graph that we had with the steep slope, but also showing wind turbine blades coming for decommissioning soon, and they should already be here. They are not here. So the thoughts we are having is maybe, due to a lot of things, among that the energy prices we are seeing, we expect maybe that will be postponed by 10 years. What about, you had some numbers on the quantities as well. What do you have of considerations on that?
Maybe that it is postponing a little bit, but because of the other industries, we already have this glass fiber plastics already there. So the boat industry having 6,000 boats each year somewhere in Europe laid off, it is rotting there somewhere in the harbors. So I would say, if you want to build up an industry that is recycling this material, it's the amount of material is already there, but nobody is collecting it. Yeah, so it's somewhere. So this was one of the problems we had when we did this modeling for the harbor and hinterland traffic. So where is the hub where we collect all these blades, all the scrap? Where shall it go? So that is not there. So that is not organized.
Totally agree. We can't find the waste from the boat.
They're somewhere. You asked me also, where are the blades? I don't know. Nina found some blades where she took some probes off, but they are not in my garden, and and I think they are somewhere hidden.
Yeah.
No one wants to see them.
The blades we can find, but the boats we can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Last question. Sofus from H.J. Hansen. We're working in the recycling industry. And some of the problems that you are actually mentioning here as well. And you mentioned that dumping landfill is not the option. And I think the biggest problem is actually that the way we are doing dumping or landfilling today is that we mix it with a lot of other things. Because when we look at the waste hierarchy, and I will show that later on, incineration is a part of a better solution. But to get it to incineration, we will also need to do some processing on the blades, and that will also, those steps will also emit CO2. And then the incineration plants very much are looking into CCS right now, so carbon capture storage. But what we do have is if you have a dedicated landfill where you have these blades, you will actually have carbon capture storage in its purest form. So it's just being a bit provocative, rather than doing a lot of steps right now and then burning it and then capturing the carbon afterwards as well. So I think actually the biggest problem is the way that we do landfill today of the blades. And then maybe we will see better solutions than incineration and cement co-processing in the future. But I totally agree that we do need the solutions very fast as well.
Yeah, that's right. So it's if you just are keen on saving CO2, maybe burying it might be a solution. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Marcus. Good
Okay.
discussion.
Thank you. Oh, danke.